matter what hour your clock strikes, here it's always Halloween. And I'm always your haunted host, Lucé Tomlin-Brenner. Welcome to Small Frights Friday. On these episodes, I like to share a curated selection of calls from our All Hallows Hotline and letters from our mailbag. But first, I am happy to announce that this episode and all the episodes from here on out are beautifully, wonderfully, terrifyingly sponsored by our Patreon Ghoul Gang. That's right, this entire podcast is produced by lanterns just like you who have signed up for our Patreon at patreon.com/itsAlwaysHalloween. Last week, we hit our goal of $500 by October 1st, and I have been gleefully walking on candy corn ever since. Candy corn sounds like it would be hard, but it's quite smushy, so this is a comforting thing for me. Last month, we hit a record. Not only did we hit our goal of $500 a month, but we hit a record of 36 new patrons, new Ghoul Gang members in the month. I could not be happier. And we picked up a few more this last week. So I would like to welcome some brand new, incredible Ghoul Gang members right now. Thank you so much to Danielle, to Blair, to Courtney, to Andy, to Kitten Pants, a wonderful name, to Mimi. And last but not least, thank you so much to John Francis, who is so excited to marry his spooky love, Courtney Garza, on Halloween. And John and Courtney, we could not be more happy for you. Getting married on Halloween, what a scream. I wish I could be there. This is not my way to insinuate that you should get an invitation out to me stat, because there's only 3 weeks left for me to find the perfect outfit. No, I don't expect that from you. However, please know that in my heart of hearts, I am there showering you with bats, which might get stuck in your veil, but is supposed to be a lovely thing. Very happy for you. I wish you lifetimes upon lifetimes of happiness together. Speaking of outrageously fun events, this weekend, the Halloween franchise marathon continues. On Sunday, October 10th, I will be screening a back-to-back, a double feature of 1998's Halloween H2O, followed by 2002's Halloween Resurrection. This Sunday only, open to the Patreon Ghoul Gang members who are signed up at the chocolate eyeball level or the full-size bar level. But that's not all. I am going to open up again for anyone who's a Ghoul Gang member at any level. I'm going to screen Halloween 2018 on October 14th. This is a lot of numbers I'm throwing at you guys. I know. This is not a math podcast. This is not a calendar podcast. We specifically hate calendars here. So on Thursday, October 14th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I am in Los Angeles. I will be screening Halloween 2018 in anticipation for Halloween Kills, which is released that very next day. So that I'm opening up to any Patreon Ghoul Gang member. That means you have another week to sign up for the Patreon if you want to join us for our, it's not just a movie. I curate an entire evening for you. We have a discussion, a presentation. We do some background, some history. We drop facts throughout. And of course, there's an incredible chat that goes on throughout the movie where you get to joke around and be footloose and fancy-free with your fellow Ghoul Gang members. It is a hilarious, delightful group, and I know that you would enjoy it if you're currently enjoying this podcast right now. So this weekend, October 10th, Halloween H2O, Halloween Resurrection, starting at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. October 14th, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Halloween 2018. I already have my tickets for Halloween Kills. I actually got them for like right before midnight on October 14th. So I'm going to go right from rewatching it to headed down the street to the Alamo Draft House in LA to see Halloween Kills. I could not be more excited. I have been trying to avoid this preview for months now. I've watched it once and I thought it gave too much away. I've been trying to forget every image that was in it. It's very difficult because many of the images were quite compelling and violent and scary. So they're really in there. I just can't wait. I'm so excited. So let's get the hype train going. Toot toot. Is that toot toot? That's more of a tugboat, I feel. You know what? This isn't a train podcast or a tugboat podcast. Let's move on. Also, there's some new stories up on the Patreon because I do ghost stories too. And I have a very fun plan for the stories that are coming out this month. I will be announcing it next week once I know for sure that it works out. I've got a lot of plans, you guys. There's many steps. All right, you guys, I also have some updates coming to the blog because I have had a crazy month already. I have done Universal Horror Nights. I got to go to Disney. I went to Freeform's Halloween Road. I have seen many things. I gotta say, I love living in Los Angeles. It is very hard in many ways. And I work in a closet, but I am just delighted to have access to so many fun Halloween activities. I had such a great time at Universal Horror Nights. I got to go with my friend Jay from the Purple Stuff podcast. He and his wife were visiting in LA, and we've been friends for years, but had never actually met in real life before. So we got to get together, and it was such a great way to just take our friendship to the next level, getting to actually scream into somebody's face, to have someone witness the sheer horror when you come face to face with the Michael Myers in real life, quote unquote real life, and you bounce from wall to wall and almost hit the ground out of sheer terror. When you can be vulnerable like that in front of somebody, you know that you're really good friends. You have to be, because I am not, the dignity that I carry with me typically goes out the window in a haunted house. I unlock my jaw and all the sounds in my body flow out of my mouth in a terrifying way. I really liked Universal Horror Nights, as I've talked about many times. I love to scream. I have felt better since getting a lot of that screaming out of my system. I would love to know if you guys have gotten to scream this year and how you're feeling. If you feel some of the stress releasing from your body. I'm feeling it and I'm ready for more. I also have plans to go to the LA Haunted Hayride, which is one of my favorite things to do in Los Angeles. And I am excited to share more stories and pictures that will be going up on the Patreon soon. I am still obsessed with the Great Pumpkin Project, which we talked about on last week's episode. I haven't, other than seeing some pumpkins at Trader Joe's, I don't know why I'm being such a snob about this. I'm like, I can't buy a pumpkin at the grocery store. I must go to the orchard or the patch. I'm in the city. There's no accessible orchard or patch. I have to go to like Yucaipa, which is like an hour and a half away. I'll probably go buy some pumpkins at the grocery store. I want to leave them around though, and I'm so excited to hear if any of you guys are going to do this. I got some great feedback from people that you did not mind the whispering. I listened back to that episode and I was like, oh no, was this a huge mistake? But some of you liked the whispering, had like an ASMR quality, which, for those of you who like that, I do have something up my sleeve. Something else is in my sleeve. What's in my sleeve? Is that spiders? Oh! There's something coming. If you liked the whispering. If you didn't like the whispering, there's nothing coming. Mind your own business. All right, you guys, we have talked about the Ghoul Gang. We have talked about the upcoming events. We have talked about what I'm up to, which is screaming as per usual. And I think right now it's time to take a call. What do you say? Take it away, Cheryl.
Hi, Lucé. My name is Cheryl. I found out about your podcast recently, and I absolutely love it. During this time of Halloween, I was looking up the movies that I can watch, and I was looking at various streaming services last night, and I realized that it might be helpful to call you and let the viewers know about certain classic Halloween movies in which stream services are available on. So, for example, some of the Universal monster movies from back in the day, including The Mummy, Bride of Frankenstein and The Invisible Man are all available on Peacock TV. I believe there's ads in the middle of it. Train to Busan is available on Peacock as well as Tubi. Bram Stoker's Dracula is available on Pluto TV. Black Christmas is available on Pluto TV and Tubi. The Love Witch is on Amazon Prime with ads, I believe, inside of it. Audition is on Tubi, and Deep Red is also on Tubi. I just thought I'd call and let the viewers know in case they were wondering which movies to see and if they were wondering which streaming services they're on. Okay, I love your podcast. Right now I'm currently in chronologically November 2020, so I have a lot to catch up on. So, love you, see you soon, and happy Halloween.
Cheryl, oh Cheryl, how sweet are you? You were making your Halloween watch list and you thought of us, all of the lanterns out there in Halloween land who were desperate to know about the accessible spooky films. Very thoughtful. We thank you deeply. I am very curious what you have watched so far, what you love. You had some great recommendations all across the board, from Argento to classic Universal monster movies. Very thoughtful. I'm just going to piggyback. Yours were much more accessible, but if there's anyone out there who does subscribe to the Criterion channel, I really recommend their section on Universal Horror right now. Their transfers are obviously beautiful. It's a great way to watch black and white film if you don't, if you're not like a Blu-ray physical media person. I think Criterion channel has the best transfers than what would be on television or what might be on another, streaming service. So right now they have The Bride of Frankenstein, The Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Raven, The Invisible Man, The Mummy, the Spanish language version of Dracula, and one of my all-time favorite films, super underrated, The Black Cat, starring both Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi. This movie came out in 1934, and it was considered to be an absolutely outrageous, disgusting film when it came out. It was like The Hostel of the 30s. It had violent themes in it that had never been seen before, and people supposedly passed out in the theater. It's like one of those urban legend type movies. In fact, Criterion calls it an astonishingly perverse sadomasochistic shocker. I mean, what more could you want? I'll just give you a little synopsis because I absolutely adore this film. And even if you don't watch it on the Criterion channel, if you have an opportunity to procure this film, you definitely should. As you all know, I work at Videotech in South Pasadena. We do have it for rent on Blu-ray and DVD. If you are in the Southern California area, come rent it from me. All right, here's the synopsis. While on their honeymoon in Hungary, newlyweds Peter and Joan Allison find themselves drawn into a deadly game of life and death being played out between a mysterious doctor and a Satan-worshipping architect. The deliriously stylized sets, shadowy expressionist atmosphere, and air of occult dread come together in one of the most frighteningly demented entries in Universal's celebrated horror cycle. So please, if you watch Black Cat this season, from my recommendation, let me know, because it is my absolute goal to get more people to watch this movie. Cheryl, once again, thank you for thinking of all of us. Thank you for your fantastic recommendations. And I think if I was going to pick one of those to watch tonight, it would be Bride of Frankenstein. Yes, that's it. Bride of Frankenstein. I have to say, too, anybody who's going to go to the Universal Halloween Horror Nights, there's an incredible Bride of Frankenstein themed maze that I went through twice. Got scared differently each time. Really shocked me. Incredible visuals and artistic design. And as usual, just 100% committed, over-the-top, terrifying actors. Big, big Bride of Frankenstein fan here. You know what else I'm a fan of? EEEEKmails. Let's read one, shall we? This one's subject line is Halloween parades. And it's from Mimi, our newest Patreon Ghoul Gang member. So, hey, special shout out, Mimi. Thank you. I'm very excited to read your EEEEKmail. Here we go. Hi, Lucé. I'm a huge fan of your wonderful Halloween podcast. Hey, thanks. I was wondering, are there any places in the U.S. or abroad that host Halloween parades? In 2017, I lived in Richmond, Virginia. There, the local All Saints Theater Company organized a Halloween parade each Halloween with performers on stilts in spooky papier-mâché costumes. It is one of my favorite memories as an adult during Halloween. Below are the links to the theater company, and they can be found on Instagram at All Saints Theater. Oh, she goes on to say, let me know if you have any questions. Stay spooky, Mimi. Mimi, I will stay spooky just for you. Thank you. These pictures are incredible. I love the All Saints Theater Company now. Big fan, brand new fan as of this moment. Their Halloween parade this year, it's going to be their 16th annual parade. It starts at 7 p.m. sharp on October 31st. It says, wave a flag, carry a puppet, bring a costume. I love that. So it looks like this parade is a World on Fire Halloween parade, a funeral march for billionaires and beyond. Oh, wow. What a large idea. I love it. This Instagram post for the All the Saints Theater goes on to say, Mars, Hades, rocket ships, billionaires, vultures, hawks, snakes, dragons, stilts, flags, music, and the Richmond magic with the All the Saints flair. We are back at it, and we have missed you. Very cool. I like your intensity. If you are in the Richmond, Virginia area, or heck, just the Virginia area in general, you can make the drive. This sounds really special. I will post some pictures. These puppets, they're giant. They're like 2-story tall papier-mâché creatures that absolutely strike fear into the hearts of mortals. This looks like an ideal Halloween parade. Mimi, you asked about other Halloween parades in the U.S. and beyond. Let's hear it for the Halloween parades. Call in, write it in EEEEKmails. We want to hear about your local Halloween parades. What a great theme. On Instagram, I have posted pictures of me from my youthful child days when I participated in the Elyria Halloween parade every year. I really think that the Elyria Halloween parade, my hometown in Elyria, Ohio, was perhaps the catalyst that made me obsessed with Halloween, perhaps even obsessed with performing, because that was the very first strut I ever did, was down the paved streets of Elyria for crowds of oohing and eyeing fans. I think the youngest I was maybe 2 or 3, and my mom dressed me up as a little cat in a little dress, a little pinafore. It's a very cute costume, if I do say so myself. And I went to that parade every year. It was my favorite aspect of Halloween growing up. And then my elementary school, Ely Elementary, we also did a Halloween parade. So there was a good 6 years there where I was parading twice a season, and it just was the greatest. Then trick or treat on top of that. No wonder you're obsessed with Halloween. If you're just like 3 events, no other holiday has 3 events. Also performance-based events. Like you get a pretty cool half-day Christmas party with like punch and pizza and cupcakes and cookies and a movie, but like it's kind of like low stakes. It's not the same thing as performing 3 times for your school and your entire community. Ugh. Halloween's just the best. We come back, we know it, but I keep coming back around to it. Anyways, there isn't exactly an LA parade. West Hollywood, which is its own city within LA County, has a massive Halloween parade. I have not attended it because West Hollywood is a very cool place, but also a very rich and sexy place. And I as you know, I really love that DIY flair. I get a little anxious when people have lots of money to buy perfect costumes and everybody looks so good. I love it, but I feel like out of place in like my Goodwill costume. So if you are a fancy person in Southern California, absolutely check out the West Hollywood Halloween Carnival. However, they are not doing it this year because of COVID. Hopefully next year it will be back. It looks like an amazing performance experience, extravaganza, very overstimulating. I recommend to all of my fancy lanterns out there, if you are more of a dirty, grimy punk rock lantern, then we should just have a Halloween parade in the alley next to my apartment building. Maybe we'll just do our own little parade of like 15 people in whatever we scrounged up at the thrift store. And we all have to explain our costumes to each other because nothing that we're wearing is licensed. It'll be a really great parade. I look forward to it. Another parade that's popular in Southern California is the Anaheim Halloween Parade. Unfortunately, another event that has been canceled due to COVID. However, this year, as the traditional parade will not be taking place, they're presenting it as the Great Anaheim Halloween Parade Scavenger Hunt, with all of the floats hidden around downtown Anaheim, and you can discover them with craftily worded clues. This takes place on Saturday, October 30th, and each spot will offer up close photo opportunities with the floats, plus treats, crafts, and other surprises. So I am going to share this link with the on the show notes. All the links that I talk about, anything I discuss, always in the show notes. So it's AnaheimFallFestival.org, and you can also check out their Instagram, Anaheim Fall Festival, if you are in Southern California. So that's what I know about parades. I know WeHo, Anaheim, and Elyria, Ohio. What say you, lanterns? Let's hear about your parades. But first, let's talk delicious dishes with our next caller.
Hey, Lucé. It's Mercedes. I recently started listening to the podcast. Been listening to it for about a month now, and I listen to it pretty much every day. So it's so good, so spoopy, and just gets me super excited for Halloween. I just wanted to talk about my Halloween plans this year. I'm really, really excited because my boyfriend is in a band, and his band and about 5 other bands are going to have like a huge Halloween show. Everyone's going to be dressed up, and it's going to be in like a big backyard. And I'm super, super excited about it. It's just going to be a totally spooky show, and it's going to be so fun. I've never done anything like that on Halloween, so it'll be a new experience for sure. And then I do normally have like a annual Halloween party, so I will have one after the show. I really do love to cook and bake, and so I have so many fun ideas. Hopefully I can follow through and make all of them. I am vegan, so I was planning on making vegan sugar cookies, these little like apple pies that have like pentagrams on top of them. I wanted to make vegan caramel apples, but the caramel is black, which will be, I don't know, maybe a little bit difficult. I'm not 100% sure. And then I wanted to make pumpkin cupcakes with little jack-o'-lantern faces on them. But that's what I have planned so far. And then I did want to talk about all of the fall spooky kind of meals I've made so far. I kind of started off with the stuffed bell peppers that look like jack-o'-lanterns, where you carve a little jack-o'-lantern face into them. Oh my gosh, they were super, super good, vegan as well, delicious, and just super, super cute and fun. I will say that it was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be, but it was worth it. It was just super precious. I've also made pumpkin pasta, which was super, super good. vegan as well. Obviously, everything that I make is pretty much is vegan. And then I've made loads of pumpkin pancakes, pumpkin baked oats. I made pumpkin chili, just literally everything I can to involve pumpkin, I pretty much do. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's my most basic trait, is just being incredibly obsessed with pumpkin. But yeah, I don't know. Lots of apple cider, spiced apple cider with like spiced rum is delicious.
Mercedes, my goodness, you know how to paint a picture of delicious, delectable, spooky meals. And I'm so sorry. I think you got cut off. I am left wondering what other tempting, tasty, tantalizing, terrifying morsels you might have mentioned. But wow, you have a lot on your plate, so to speak, for this season. I have those stuffed, carved peppers on my Pinterest board. I have never made them, and I completely believe you when you say that they are more work than you anticipated. Every time I try to make something cute that I find on Pinterest, I find it to be at least 5 hours more work than I had planned for. I think that's also because I am not a natural in the kitchen. I'm a hobbyist kitchen witch. My hands do not listen to my head, and they go all higgly-piggly whenever I try to follow a recipe. My head goes 2 cups, and my hands are like, I'm shaking, 5 cups? And then I just have to go with it. Lots of anarchy in my kitchen. But I've got heart, and that's what matters. So I am just impressed by all of the culinary creepiness that you are whipping up in your cauldron, Mercedes. I love that you have a Halloween party planned. I love this awesome concert that your boyfriend is going to be in on Halloween. It sounds like you have a really terrific calendar Halloween lined up. And, you know, my friends, when I was in college, there was a big Halloween show every year at Howard's Club H in Bowling Green, Ohio, where bands would dress up and be other bands for the Halloween show. So like all the local bands that we loved would be like, oh, this band is going to be Weezer, and this band is going to be Green Day, and this band is going to be the Pixies. And it was a really fun show, and I looked forward to it every year. So I hope your boyfriend's show is just as delightful, if not more so, because everybody deserves endless fun and each experience to be more of a scream than the last. Speaking of a scream, let's talk about graveyards with our next EEEEK mailer. All right, the subject of this one is Halloween in Baltimore, Maryland. Greetings, Lucé. It's been a year since I first started listening to your podcast, and it has not let me down at all. So happy to hear that. I really like the special subjects you cover, and I look forward to every Friday when a new program is posted. I wanted to mention that we in Charm City have some really cool Halloween traditions. First of all, we have the Edgar Allan Poe Museum and his grave here in Baltimore. There's a special program at the museum every Halloween where there's a guided ghost tour and readings from Poe's writings. There is also the tradition of the Man in Black, who visited Poe's grave on his birthday, leaving a half-filled bottle of cognac and 3 red roses. To this day, no one knows who the stranger is. Then there's the legend of Black Aggie, a haunted statue once located in the Druid Hill Cemetery. The legend states that anyone who saw her red eyes or sat on the statue's lap would either go blind or insane. When I was in college, us crazies would drive to Druid Hill Cemetery and look for the famous statue to see if its eyes would turn red or to try and sit in its lap. Rest assured, no one was affected, and the statue was moved to somewhere in Washington, D.C. We had a ball when we were young. Happy haunting, yours, Tom. Tom, I loved this EEEK mail so much. I have such a warm spot in my heart for Baltimore. As I've noted on past episodes, I lived in Silver Spring, Maryland from 2008 to 2012. I love Maryland. I worked in Howard County for a couple of years, and I spent much time in Baltimore visiting friends and doing activities and performing comedy. But I am so embarrassed to say, and listen, I'm not telling anyone else this, I'm just telling you this, so you keep it on your hat. I have a reputation to uphold, but I have never been to Edgar Allan Poe's grave. Oh my God, you guys. Also, when I said that, there was like a thump underneath me. Oh my God, am I about to scream? I might scream. Oh my God. That was so scary. I'm so scared. I have full body chills. What the heck? And also my cat is looking all freaked out. Oh, I don't like it. What's happening? Okay. I'm like fully freaked out. This is why I need to not record at 2 a.m. by myself. Oh my God. My whole chair just shook and there's like a thump and everything just like vibrated. Ugh, I've been watching Midnight Mass, Mike Flanagan's new show on Netflix, and I just watched the 3rd episode, which was like so cool, but also fully disturbing. And I keep thinking I'm seeing things out of the corner of my eye. Oh my gosh. I'm taking a deep breath and I'm starting over. I'm afraid to say anything now, though. I'm afraid that this EEEEKmail is cursed. Tom, thank you so much for your terrifying EEEEKmail that caused my whole chair to shake and might make me scream at any moment. What a delight. I am feeling super superstitious right now, and I don't want to talk about it anymore because I don't want to have that experience again. I'm sure it's explainable, but I'm in a small closet by myself, so I really don't know what it could have been. Thank you for your EEEEKmail. I gotta move on. I'm too freaked out to keep talking about cemeteries and curses and scary statues at 2 o'clock in the morning. You're the best. I love Baltimore. Someday I will make it there and visit that grave. And please, spirits, don't bother me. I don't want any trouble. Surely things will be much calmer on the hotline, right?
Hi, this is Angela, and I'm calling in from Kansas City. I love the show. I'm currently catching up on a backlog of episodes. So, having recently listened to the tales of theater ghosts and open graves and cemeteries, I was reminded of a recent and unusual occurrence. In the middle of Kansas City, just blocks away from downtown, you can find the resting place of 55,000 souls at Union Cemetery, which was founded in 1857. Last September and October, people started hearing strange noises and seeing wild lights at night near the holding vault. The holding vault was constructed to hold the bodies of those who perished midwinter and could not be interred until the spring thaw. People reported hearing voices and music into the twilight evening. So what was this phenomenon? A group of pranksters? A legitimate haunting? As it turns out, the local Coterie Theater had decided to wake the dead. Like many theaters in the area, all of their productions came to a screeching halt due to COVID-19. So the Coterie got creative and created a safe outdoor production of Electric Poe, a dramatic and inspired delivery of some of Edgar Allan Poe's works, staged with thematic music in the middle of our historic cemetery at night. I'm sharing the story to show that even when things are truly dark and dire, someone out there is finding a thread of hope and spinning it into something inspiring. So if you're in Kansas City this fall, you can still grab tickets for this year's resurrected production. I certainly have. So, see you at the fall.
More Edgar Allan Poe delights. This sounds like such a cool show, Angela. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. I've never been to Kansas City. I might be buying a ticket now. here I go off to Kansas City. This sounds incredible. I have always wanted to see a show in a cemetery. There is a really fun movie night that happens here a few times a month called Cinespia, where they show films at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. But it's not quite the same as seeing a live performance. That sounds like such a delight, and I really do hope that there's other Kansas City lanterns that can go experience this wonderful evening. I have to say, it's a little creepy that I did not plan for these 2 Edgar Allan Poe posts. I was really just going in order because I'm trying to get through all of the incredible messages I'm getting from everybody. I want to squeeze everyone in before calendar Halloween hits. So I was really just going in order. And back to back, Edgar Allan Poe. Am I making connections now because I am fully and totally freaked out of my skin and I am just a skeleton here sitting at this microphone now? I don't know, it's hard. It's hard when it comes to creepy stuff. It's easy to see all the coincidences. This was a fantastic call, Angela. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to hear that you are enjoying the podcast, and I can't wait to hear more spooky stories, more cemetery stories, more of your plans, more of the food that you're eating, the decor that you're putting up, the movies that you're watching. Please give us a call, write us an EEEEKmail. We want to hear about all of it. The number here is 802-532-DEAD, or you can write us that EEEKmail at itsalwayshalloweenpodcast@gmail.com. Just like I was saying at the top of the show, if you love It's Always Halloween, then consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/itsalwayshalloween and sign up for one of our delicious candy tiers. There's so much fun there to be had, and you get that sweet feeling of knowing that you are a part of an independent podcast being produced and broadcasted to the entire world. How wonderful is that? If you'd like to support us in other ways, we have a little shop on Redbubble. That link is in our show notes as well. Or for free, you can leave us a sweet little 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. That helps other like-minded ghouls find us. I would love to share with you a new review that we got from That Horror Queen. The subject line is "The perfect slice of Halloween year-round. This podcast is an absolute delight with nothing but spooky good vibes. I love learning something new about my favorite topics and hearing from fellow Halloween fans as they share their stories. It totally brings a smile to my face. Lucé is a delight." Oh, thanks. "She's so knowledgeable while also thoroughly researching all of her topics. I also love the positivity she exudes alongside the macabre and fun vibes. This is the perfect podcast to listen to for a healthy dose of Halloween at any time of the year." Why, thank you so much, That Horror Queen. What a lovely review, and you put a smile on my face. Again, these reviews make such a big difference when people Google the word or the phrase "It's Always Halloween," or when people search the podcast app for Halloween podcasts. Your reviews make it so that this podcast is currently showing up first, which is so awesome because we get to continue building our community and strengthening the podcast and getting to see where it can turn into with a little more support. All right, you guys, this podcast was brought to you by the Patreon Ghoul Gang. It was researched and performed by me, Lucé Tomlin-Brenner, with some help from some incredible lanterns. Thank you so much for your contributions, Mercedes, Cheryl, Tom, Angela, and Mimi. I could not have done this without you. I also cannot do this show without the incredible Pete Burns, who designed our theme music. He does all of the music, all of the sounds that you hear. He edits. The fact that you hear this podcast at all is because of Pete Burns. I love him. I appreciate him. I haven't seen him in person for over a year and a half, and it's killing me. You can follow Pete Burns on Twitter and Instagram at Mittenberries. You can follow me personally at LTB Comedy on Twitter and Instagram. And of course, follow the podcast at It's Always Halloween. On Instagram only for now. We may be building a Twitter soon. It's a lot of social media stuff to keep track of, guys. You know, do you ever get overwhelmed? This is the end of the episode. We can't get into this right now. Listen, It's Always Halloween is also on the NPR One app, so subscribe there and tell Ira Glass that you love us. And thank you so very much for listening to yet another episode of It's Always Halloween. And please come back next time, unless Edgar Allan Poe reaches out of his grave to shake your desk chair specifically and you never stop screaming.